Hello everyone, it's Ben from the chair to give you a review of Ghostbusters, starring Bill Murray as Peter Venkman, Harold Rhimes as Egon Spengler, Dan Aykroyd as Ray Sprouts, and Sigourney Weaver as Diana Bennett. This film is a film I've never seen before, but I unboxed the Blu-ray the other day. I'm just going to do the film review here, not the special features. This film is a comedy written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Rhimes. So this film is, these are all legends. These are all legends that have been in different films, and they've come together for this film, Ghostbusters. It is a classic that I've never seen before. The film starts off with in a library, and a ghost attacks this librarian, and then we go into the film. Bill Murray's character is a scientist in a university where he's paid to study paranormal activity, but he's really not that bothered. He's just like, he's using his time to electric shock treatment with the cars with the wavy lines just to see if he can impress women, basically. It's almost like he's not bothered. He's the professor, but he's the one that's not bothered. Dan Aykroyd is like plays Ray, who is like into this paranormal stuff, but he's almost like he is also a professor, but he's also like the kind of the get up and go that oh this is happening type of things. Like he's like the energy. Harold Rhimes played Egon Spengler, who's like the scientist who kind of makes the gadgets for the team to use to catch these ghosts, and he's more like, well, we should just. So it's a good mix, but Bill Murray's character, as he goes along, kind of doesn't sort of believe in this ghost stuff. But then as the film goes on, he kind of gets into it. The film is very funny with one-liners between Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray's character. Peter and Ray's character, they're kind of like they bond. There is a character he meets Sigourney Weaver's character Diane Bennett, who goes to the Ghostbusters because they she finds a ghost in her fridge, funnily enough, and goes to the Ghostbusters because they get they leave the university to get a business for themselves, and her next door neighbour across the hall, Lewis Tully, played by Rick Manis, is just kind of this kind of unlucky loser type, kind of squat, lonely type. He has some good one-liners too, but he's always locked out of his apartment. And then, the second half of the film, third act, kind of goes really campy for me. It's a really funny film up until the last bit because they have to get rid of this ghost spirit called Zool that seems to be in Diane's fridge. And I just think, it was a bit campy. It was almost like um, I've never seen a film go from one thing to another. Like it's a comedy film, and all of a sudden it goes really campy. Really, it's almost like a little bit what I presume Flash Gordon would be like. A bit. It was really kind of second half campy. I think it's a good film, but for me it wasn't the exact classic I was expecting. The second half of the film really let it down. The Marshmallow Man was really good, and that the effects were pretty good for the time. But there's one scene when this dog, this big bear thing, comes bursting through the apartment, and you can just see it's computerized where they hadn't finished it. It's just a very crass kind of computer model where if you freeze frame it as it bursts through the door, it doesn't materialize properly, and then a frame later it does. It's like they didn't check it properly. The sound is pretty good. Um, Ghosts float around you because I do have a Bose sound system with a front bar and two back speakers now, with also a subwoofer at the front. So the sound's pretty good. Um, yeah, but I mean it is a funny film, but then it kind of gets kind of serious and campy at the same time in the last third. Sigourney Weaver, a very young Sigourney Weaver, plays a very good damsel in distress, but she's not quite a damsel, but she is. It's a very good. They all play very well, so well that there is a sequel. So I will be reviewing Ghostbusters 2 very soon. Did I like Ghostbusters? Yeah. I mean, I do want to watch all of them to have an overview, and then I'll do the special features afterward, maybe. But I just feel, you know, I felt the second half of the film let it down a bit. The last third it changed tone, which then threw me off the film, I think. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the comedy of the first two quarters, and we'll just see what the second film has to offer to see if I get into the series or I don't. Um, it is well known for people that know me that I did like the 2016 female version, so hopefully um, I will get into Ghostbusters, but I'm not going to review it. I've reviewed it before, so I'm just going to do the first two and then Afterlife, and then I'm going to do the new one when it comes out. But how would I rate it? I would give it a solid 7. It's funny, but I can't rate it higher than that because of the way that the last quarter kind of goes. Because there really kind of isn't a villain as such. Zool is a villain, but he kind of takes over dying and then ends up on top of the building, and then they just kind of blow him up because there's a light storm. It doesn't feel like there's much kind of threat, even though it just feels light-hearted, but they're trying to make it feel bigger than it is. But it's a comedy film, so you're not going to get that dread. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it that I can't quite portray. I think it's because this film is such a classic that I don't know what I was expecting, but it started off good, but then kind of went downhill slightly. I don't know. I mean, Beverly Hills Cop doesn't do that. Lethal Weapon doesn't do that. Other films, it just kind of changed tone at the end, and it just threw me off. But yeah, that's my review of the original Ghostbusters on, well, I'm going to say on Blu-ray, but the film review that I watched on Blu-ray. The picture quality was good. Didn't see a problem with it. I've heard the actual 4K isn't worth buying because the 4K master is on the Blu-ray, but I'm going to stick with the Blu-ray, I think. Yeah, so that's going to be the review of Ghostbusters, the original 1984 version, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!